Assalamu alaikum, Mohammad. Welcome back to the World Blockchain Summit.
Alaikum salam. Thank you for that. Good morning, everyone.
Happy to have you with us. And I'm going to jump straight into the discussion, Dubai style, wasting no time.
Sure.
We know that you are the head of the DIFC Innovation Hub, driving a lot of different initiatives in there. Can you give us a little bit of idea of DIFC
Sure.
and the Innovation Hub?
Sure. So DIFC stands for Dubai International Financial Center. We're a government entity that was established in 2004 with the prime mandate of diversifying Dubai's economy and building its financial services sector. And I think 20 years have passed. Today, it has the who's who of the world. And within the DIFC Innovation Hub is actually it's fintech, it's financial innovation hub. Today, home to about 1,000 plus startups, and our aim is to look at how finance will look like 20 years from now, and then kind of push government and of course the private sector towards it.
You mentioned 1,000 plus startups. That's actually an incredible number, and the AI blockchain community is also thriving because of the startups, right? What role does AI and blockchain play in DIFC's financial technology strategy for the future?
Well, I think AI Web3. I mean, we all know it's the new reality. It's going to be part of our lives, of each aspect of our life, be it financial services or be it beyond. I think that's why if you look at the government of Dubai a bit more holistically, I think they've looked at all these key technologies, and each government entity has looked at how they could embrace these technologies, how they could invest in these technologies, embed them into making life and our services better for everyone. I think similarly, it becomes our responsibility as the financial center to look at blockchain technology, digital assets, and see how we could enable them as regulators. First, how could we be a home to these companies as they set up or as they plan to expand into the Middle East? And likewise, the same applies for AI. AI is, and I keep saying this all the time, that I don't have a conversation with anyone, be it from government or private sector, with any of the leaders, and they're not looking at AI. Everyone is looking at AI. Everyone is kind of contemplating on this idea. What could they do in AI? How could they? How could it impact or benefit their business? So I think from our perspective, it's making sure the right regulatory framework, the right legislations are there, but also then the right infrastructure is there for them to set up and have the right community around them as well.
We are all familiar with the Higher Committee for Future Technology and Digital Economy. We're also familiar with organizations like Digital Dubai. There's a lot of initiatives that are happening there. And of course, Dubai has its own digital transformation strategy and digital transformation journey. What initiatives or what key initiatives do you all work on, or have you launched, or will you be launching shortly to support the startup ecosystem in particular and help development of this entire space?
So I think it was 2014 when His Highness the ruler he announced the national innovation mandate for the city of Dubai, which was to make Dubai the most innovative or the smart city in the world. And I think since then, each government entity has been pushing innovation in their own capacity. I think ours was pretty clear. It has to be innovation. It has to be fintech, financial innovation, and I think we have rightly done. Similarly, I think if you look at other entities or other government organizations, they've been pushing innovation and adoption of future technologies in their own capacity. I think startup. I think so that's one, but then if you look at innovation, and in our capacity, innovation, it was very clear that a big part of innovation is around startups and building that startup community. And I think the DIFC wasn't known as a startup hub. I think at that time there were hardly any startups. It was mainly home for the big boys, the financial institutions and large service providers. I think that's where we had to look into how can we now position the DIFC also as a hub for startups? How can we create the right products and services for them, the right regulatory environment for them? I think one of the things that we had to do, which wasn't easy, was convincing, of course, the leadership that we can't treat startups as we treat banks. I mean, they're different. I mean, these guys, I usually make a joke that startups want everything and they don't want to pay for it. So how can we do? How can we build this ecosystem? And also the same applies for a regulator as well. Our regulator, the DFSA, of course, they're very stringent. But how can we make sure that there's enough support for them in the early days? Because yeah, there's this global debate around having a level playing field, but can't we just support them for the first 6 to 12 months so at least they can? Because most of these guys don't even know what regulation means or how they can be regulated or what do they need to do to adhere to the regulations. So I think coming up with a regulatory sandbox that supports startups, coming up with licensing regimes that, of course, support startups, making sure there's access to capital. I think one of the biggest challenges that we had about 4 or 5 years ago, there wasn't much capital or VC capital available in the market. That is, alhamdulillah, no longer the case. Partly, of course, government itself has taken the mandate, has invested into startups, but also a lot of, we've made sure there's been a lot of awareness building in the private sector as well and in global VC community as well. And hence the startup ecosystem in Dubai has attracted a lot of startups. One of the key things is giving them access to market through programs that we have or programs that similar government entities have. You have the Area 2071, Dubai Future Foundation, and many other accelerators which are out there, which actually attract startups and give them the right support to be able to develop and grow. And that's why, I mean, today you see Dubai has emerged as one of the key startup hubs. I think, not to forget the talent play. I think over the past 3-4 years, Dubai has really emerged as a talent hub. All the time, startup CEOs tell us that it's easier for them to attract talent into Dubai than anywhere else in the world, and I think that has really played a huge role. And programs like Golden Visa and the remote work visa, these things have really helped.
Yeah, absolutely. Regarding startups, while you were speaking, I just remembered, they say most startups are broke until funded. So there's that massive investment community. There are a few more, these are myths and realities, right? They say startups have no clue of what direction to take. But here I think they have access to mentors and founders and fellow startup founders, successful and not so successful, who can help coach and guide them. You're providing them with licenses, so therefore taking care of the legalities and the regulations around it, as well as a lot of other ancillary benefits that comes with it. So if the three things, which is funding, access to mentors and experiences, coaching and guidance, as well as the last part which you talked about, which is talent, right? If these three are sorted, I think majority of the startups will actually succeed, and a lot of them fail because of lack of these three things.
Exactly. I remember like when we started our journey, we looked at what are the key components for a startup ecosystem. One is, of course, regulation, the right regulations. There's been a lot of work. There's a lot of regulation available, but still, I mean, it's work in progress. It's always going to be work in progress. You've got access to capital, and startups need access to market, access to mentors, if I may say, and the most important is access to talent. I think a lot of that has been addressed. Access to talent is something that's more of a global issue, but I think if there's a jurisdiction that promises a solution to it, it's Dubai.
Yeah, absolutely. I think capacity building has been specifically emphasized by the government of Dubai and by various organizations, including the DIFC, which is promising. Now, Dubai, of course, was one of the early believers of digital economy, and digital economy means a lot to Dubai. What strategies are there in place as part of Dubai's digital economy expansion in 2024 and ahead?
I think if you look at Dubai, it's always been progressive, and I think an early adopter of any technology that is talk of the hour, if I may say. I think when blockchain came in, we were the first that actually had a blockchain, national blockchain strategy, and it did help, and it did push a lot of government entities and private entities to kind of look into their technology and look at its adoption. And then I think if you look at AI, the UAE was probably the only country that had a national AI strategy and an AI minister. But I think even when technologies like metaverse came in, the Dubai metaverse strategy, yes, the technology might not be as famous as it was about 18 months ago, but I think from our perspective, from the government's perspective, our job is to push everybody to look into this technology. We know it's going to be part of our life in some way or form. How that is, probably we don't know right now. But I think pushing everyone to look into technologies and look at its adoption, that is key. And I think Gen AI is of course important. Again, I think a lot's happening from our perspective. We need to push new boundaries. I think Gen AI is one of the key things that we're looking at. Space is again something that everyone's looking at, and ourselves we're looking at to see what can be done and how can we become a hub for these technologies.
Yeah, space economy is an interesting topic, and I guess that's a discussion for another time, but really interesting for everybody to actually ponder upon and research. Dubai AI Web3 campus, the world's first AI campus. Can you tell us a little more about that, Mohammad?
Sure. I think now, of course, we have the DIFC Innovation Hub. There are so many different startup clusters. When we were thinking about AI, and the government, of course, is pushing everyone to look at AI and adoption of AI, use cases of AI, and the thinking was, if you were to ask where is the home of AI companies or Web3 companies today, a cluster. And I think that's where we couldn't identify or pinpoint. There are, of course, fragmented different clusters. So we said, why not have a cluster that is home to everyone that is in the AI and Web3 space? And I think that's where the decision was made. Why not build an entire cluster that would be a hub for everyone who's in the AI and Web3 space? It's an ambitious project that aims to have around 500 companies by 2028 in the AI and Web3 space. And the idea is that it should have the producers and the consumers under one roof. So if you are somebody that's producing AI or in the Web3 space, you would want to be associated with that campus one way or the other. If you are a consumer and that wants to learn and wants to see what's happening, you would also want to be associated with that space. Again, it's a Dubai level initiative, an ambitious one, and we believe it's the right time for it as everyone's looking at that space.
Well, better late than never. Congratulations on the campus. All the very best for the Dubai AI Web3 Festival that's coming up in September, also organized by the campus, and a lot of other exciting initiatives that you and the government will be launching. Thank you for joining us, Mohammad. Although a short session, I'm sure that they have lots of questions. Please feel free to reach Mohammad offline here or later on. Explore DIFC, explore the Innovation Hub, explore the AI and Web3 campus.
Thank you
if you have
very
anything
much.
else, reach out to us. Thank you, Mohammad.